LFC Daytrippers, brought to you by bookmakers.com.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the LFC Daytrippers. I'm Gav. That's Keith. Emmet will be along in a few minutes, and sorry for the delay. That was my fault. Something come up in the house. I couldn't be avoided, and we are 7 to 8 minutes late starting. Emma will, as I said, will be along in a couple of minutes. This is the Fatback 4. Link is in the description for our charity. We've $3,000 to get. Please donate if you can. If you can't, you know yourself. Share it amongst your family, your friends, and all that stuff. There's millions of you watching this. I'm looking at it now. We're only a minute in. There's millions of you watching it. 42 likes, not good enough. So start hitting the like button. We're going to get fairly aggressive over this now, Keith. I think it's time to be aggressive, Keith.
I think it is. You might be a bit harsh, Gav. We've been 7 minutes late, and you're demanding more likes
Yeah, I am.
What we have.
Because
so I like that aggression. I do like it.
Well, a couple of hundred people sitting there, nothing else to fucking do, and only 46 of them hit like. You know what I mean? Why aren't they just hit it? The more they hit like, the more chances there we fucking start on time. But we're usually on time, in fairness.
I like the way you're taking the blame for us being late. Yeah, we have a big white screen there because Emmet isn't here yet.
No, I was late. Well,
very magnanimous of you.
I was ready to go about 1 minute, 2 minutes past 10. But Emma has been delayed, so we're just going to start with him. We get the small stuff out of the way while we're waiting on him to come in, and then we get into the big stuff. So tonight's show, we're going to talk about Romeo Lavia, who's still on the radar. We're going to talk about Kefran Turam, who may be off the radar. So, you know, nothing's being said really. We're going to talk about Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones winning the under-21s, Euros with England, and in particular Curtis Jones. And we're going to talk about Levi Colwill at Chelsea, who has been linked to Liverpool a lot. In the last couple of days on the internet. How true it is, we don't know. But we're going to have a chat over the possibility of it and what it would mean if Liverpool were to go and do something like that. Jamie Burgoyne says, you guys looking after Luke Tanner. Luke, yeah, Luke's good. Luke has a break during the summer. He comes back and does the Friday night shows with Chris and Kev and the lads, but he also does a lot of MMA stuff, doesn't he, on his own?
Yeah.
I know he does stuff with Callum Sanderson and stuff like that. So yeah, Luke's sound.
Good lad,
Jamie.
Good lad.
Relax, he's all good.
Jamie was in before looking for Luke. This could be Luke's burner.
I'd say
Luke, is that you? Is that you, Luke?
Is it Luke's? Would you reckon it's Luke's burner?
Could be.
All right,
Luke's just waiting to try and sort out when he's back on.
Do we go
Friday shows back?
Do we go as far as saying if Jamie comments again, we just call him Luke? Yeah, okay. I'm up for that. And of course, pre-season start for Liverpool. A couple of players back in the last couple of days. We'll chat over that first. But first things first, Keith. Lavia and Turam heavily linked. Turam first went a bit quiet during the Euros. We thought it'd pick up again. Lavia not so much. Didn't see him on the radar. We've spoken about this at length. But right now, not an awful lot said on Kefran Turam, whereas reports keep popping up now about Lavia on a daily basis without anything majorly solid there with regards to are Liverpool looking at him, is there a bid, anything like that. So where are you on these two at the moment? Because I think this centre half chat might affect stuff in midfield, and I'm not overly happy about it. Go on.
Yeah, I think the Turam one's dead. I think that's gone. I said last week on the show, I think the Szoboszlai move maybe altered the thinking that they would not necessarily go for, not that he's an attacking midfielder, Turam, but he is a forward-thinking, ball-carrying midfielder. I think they may have looked for something slightly different, and I think Lavia is one they've identified. Now, there's been a few players that we think they've identified and they've gone cold and pulled out of races and things like that. But I just think the homegrown element of Lavia is a huge appeal, and I think Liverpool could. A lot of talk about paying the money. There's a lot of talk about paying the money because Manchester City have a 40 million buyback on him next summer. So, who's to say they'll pull the trigger on that? But from everything you're hearing and reading, he is very well thought of there. They couldn't give him game time last year, but with players moving on and Calvin Phillips, for example, still being there like a bad smell, how much longer will he be there clogging up a space? There may be an opportunity for Lavia at Man City. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. So I can understand why clubs would want to go now. He's only 19 years old and he's not got that many first team games. So he's seen something the other day. He's only got like 16 or something games more than Bajcetic. And he only came in late and had a flash in the pan and then got injured. So when you think of it like that, it's a weird sort of hype and expectation on the kid. And I don't like overpricing players. I think when you overprice a player, you put a noose around their neck. It's very hard to sort of pull off. But I just think with Lavia, the fact that he's homegrown, the fact that there's a 40 million buyback for Man City on it, are Liverpool sure that he's the one? And if they are, I think just pay whatever it needs to be. If it's 50 million, if you said to me 50 million on a 19-year-old with not much experience, I'd be like, nah, fucking no way, waste the money. But he ticks a lot of boxes. And I think he becomes more appealing with those boxes. And it could be a case that you don't pull the trigger on him. He goes to Man City and blows up with them. And you're like, maybe we could have done something there. But look, that's all hindsight. That's all foresight. You don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
He could stink the gaff out and not do anything. We don't know. But he does look like a player who can fill in a few positions. And I think he's maybe a little bit pigeonholed as only being able to play in the sixth. I very rarely see Liverpool buy specialists like that. The buy players, all right, Fabinho maybe was one, but Fabinho was actually quite a adaptable player when we got him. He played right back for Brazil. He played centre back a few times, whereas I always thought he looked like he could have been a centre back Fabinho with his height and his ability on the ball. But it didn't work out when he done it because shit show of a season. But we very rarely buy a player that can only do one thing. And I think if they're looking at Lavia, they may be looking and saying, well, maybe he can do different. Do you know what I mean? Maybe he doesn't have to be the six. He can play on, the double pivot. He can play on the left or right side. Who knows? But Klopp always sees a little bit more in these players. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And another player that we're linked with as well, I won't go into Levi Colwill now, but the same applies for him. Pay the money if he's the one you want, because the homegrown thing will be a huge factor. And as Shawnee is saying now, the homegrown is like the bleeding TV license. Nobody's going to pay it, so nothing's going to happen. So maybe we're the only ones that worry about that. But it'll be interesting to see the names that are being linked are geared more towards that sort of element than the homegrown players.
Just a few things. Shane McCall says I've gone very quiet in the Liverpool front. Not sure if that's a good or a bad thing. Passio says there's just with regards to Liverpool news, there's a big nothing burger. Just a bunch of journal wannabes tweeting each other. Tweeting each other saying talks have taken place. I haven't even seen that, to be honest with you. So I must be following.
I've seen that the one I like at the moment is internal discussions are going to be had. I've seen that about Romeo. Liverpool are going to have internal discussions in the next 2 or 3 days.
Oh.
Who the fuck is telling them this? Do you know what I mean? We're going to have a chat about it maybe in a few days.
Yeah.
Look outside, join us.
Yeah, well, there you go. Right, Emmet's in now. All we need now is for Emmet's sound and all to be fucked up, and then he'll have to leave and check it out. Emmett, are you okay?
Can't hear you.
Can't
Can you
hear
hear
us.
me?
Yeah,
we can hear you. Yeah. You have a lovely tan.
Yeah. He can't hear us. Can you hear us?
Fucking get out and come back
get
in.
out. Fuck off, Emmet, annoying us.
Yeah.
Go on, off you go. Good luck. Drop out and come back in.
I'm back in.
Yeah, don't be.
No sign language for that.
I just sit there trying to work it out while we all
Come
talk.
out and go again.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you got it. Yeah, talks will take internal talks. Nice, I like it.
Yeah.
Jack Santini says Szoboszlai signing has ended the Thuram links in his honest opinion.
I agree.
Is Thiago staying blocking a move for Lavia, says David? I don't know about that. We need some outgoings this summer, says Jake Semester. We can't go the whole summer without selling any players. I completely agree. And I'll tell you why in a little bit, Jake. Let me see. Just on Lavia, 50 million is the price, okay? And I'm sure, you see, people think, I'm not paying that. Not fucking paying that. 50 million is fucking outrageous. But the way Southampton look at it is, if he goes and has a great season in the Championship, City are giving them 40 next summer. You know what I mean? Like City have a buyback next summer of 40 million quid. Okay? So Southampton are probably saying to themselves, well, we want 50. We want a 10 million, premium on this player to get him out of Southampton now rather than 40 million next summer. Like, he could be amazing. Get Southampton straight back up and City go, he was brilliant, wasn't he? There, give us 40 million, there you go. Thanks for that 2 years looking after him. And now he's ready to rock. And he's had a season in the Premier League and probably had a really bleeding physical one in the Championship. So what's the issue? That's where Southampton are standing.
But not only that, I think Southampton may also be looking and thinking, right, he could blow it up in the Championship next season, but City might just come back and say, look, we're not giving you 40 million for any Championship player.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
20. And he wants to come back to us. So they may be looking as well saying, look, we need to cash him now.
And this is where it probably is, this is where it probably fits with Liverpool at the moment. If they're looking for 50 and Lavia wants to move to Liverpool, all right, which I'm presuming he would over staying with Southampton for a year, right? Or rolling the dice on a City move next summer. It might be down to him to turn and say, listen, I want to go. You know, I'm going for 40 next summer. Why can't I go for 40 this summer and push it? And Southampton get 40 million quid off a player who, how much did he sign him for? I don't know. But it wasn't anywhere near.
It was the big dog. He paid about 15 million from him.
Yeah,
all right, Emmet, can you hear us?
I can hear you now, yeah. Can you hear me?
Great. Yeah, perfect.
Fuck's sake.
Anyway, you're here anyway. So we're talking about Romeo Lavia. And we're going to get off now. We're going to move on to something else. But that's where I think it is at the moment. I think it's a bit of cat and mouse with regard. If Liverpool want them, or indeed Arsenal want them, because as firm as the links I've seen with Liverpool, I've seen, when I say firm, the volume of links I've seen with Liverpool, I've seen similar links with Arsenal going back a couple of weeks ago. So it's not, for me, it's not any concrete either way. But that's maybe where Southampton are looking at it. And maybe Lavia, if he wants that move, and clubs are going, we want you. We'll give you this contract, but we're not giving 50. We're willing to give 40 or 35 or whatever. If you really want it, you're going to have to make it happen. Do you know what I mean? Your agent or whatever it might be. So we'll have to see.
You might be able to throw a couple of players or a player into the mix. You know what I mean? Like straight away, I'm thinking, and I know people will laugh at this, right? But I'm like, 35 million and Tyler Morton. There you go. Take that. Championship proven player. Is a good player. I think is a good player, right? He's not a dud. He's a good player, but he's never going to make it with us. But he's got Southampton. I think he'd be a good player for them. I think it's the type of profile of player that they go for, young English players. There you go. Who says no to that? 15 million worth of Tyler Morton plus 35 in cash.
Do City have an agreed fee for next season?
40 million.
40, I think, yeah.
Okay, so it's not like they're going to get more if they hold on.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
but as we were
if they
just saying
pay
there-
40 million next year, Southampton can't do a thing.
A few people are saying in the chat.
Take your 40
20%
this year, they
well.
might not want them next year.
Well, that's it. And they may not want to pay 40 because we just said that even though he could be great in the Championship, City aren't going to give 40 million for the Championship midfielder. You know, so I think City will try and cut that price down. And a lot of them in the chat are saying there's a 20% sell-on fee to City. So Southampton are going to look for big whacking anyway just to sell them.
Yeah.
You know, City.
Olivia says, a bid is being prepared is the one that always gets him. How is a bid prepared? I would say, you know, you have to preheat the oven, then you put the bid in there, and you have to wait for the heat 30 minutes at 200. I don't fucking know how a bid is prepared. Kev O'Sullivan's clearly on drugs tonight. He says 35 million and Stefan on loan. Are we talking Stefan Boychetice?
Yeah.
Kev, stop it. Put the drink down.
That's not bad.
No, it is.
But I forget they're in the Championship. But my Martin one I think has great.
Your
legs,
Martin
like
one,
35
go with
million
that.
with Martin, and then possibly a Boychetice on loan on top of that. Yeah. So you're greasing the pot for them a bit there. You're saying, look, there's a player that you can have, but here's a gem here that you're going to get a few bleeding games out of. Or if there's anyone else we could throw into the mixer there as well, you know, like a Connor Bradley or one of these, because I don't see him making it. I could be wrong. Don't get me wrong. I could be wrong. But I've not seen enough that I think he would be you know, as someone we'd hang our hat on at right back. So maybe that's an option, or even a loan for one of these young lads, you know, on top of Morton. Morton's gone. I've decided 15 million for Tyler Morton is a great bit of business for all involved.
I actually think one of them, and I know Shawnee will kill me for saying this, but I think the likes of a Ben Doak going on loan into the Championship for the year, and I'm only saying that because Szoboszlai's come in, and a lot of people see him as, if Salah's he's at the African Nations, isn't he? If Salah's at that or needs a break, or we're playing the Europa League game, Szoboszlai can go and play there. So maybe that's something there. But look, we'll see how it goes. As I said, Lavia, Thuram, both as quiet as each other in my book. How solid it is to Liverpool is probably as solid as you've seen to Arsenal, which I don't think adds up to very much at the moment. But then again, someone said earlier, I don't know if us being quiet is a good or bad thing. Don't take it as a bad thing. Like, Liverpool aren't going to wander around the streets telling you every day what they're up to. Do you know what I mean? They didn't say anything, did they? Between McAllister and Szoboszlai, they just didn't. And Szoboszlai,
even though the McAllister one was sort of was very public, very much. It was all in the Argentina side. It wasn't coming from even Brighton. It was all being reported in Argentina. You know what I mean? So,
but what I'm saying is, like, Liverpool just haven't said anything. The McAllister one was kind of, you know, it was. I think once you seen City or Chelsea or any of them not moving, you knew he was moving, and Liverpool was just the name coming into focus. But like they genuine, and I think the Szoboszlai one was throwing everyone because nobody seen it coming. Nobody's seen it coming. So don't worry about it. Let's move on. Pre-season has started. A handful of players back. Absolute meltdowns. I think it was on Thursday morning, was it? When the training pictures came out, I was like, no, Thiago, he's gone. He's fucking gone. It was like, what is going on? Blah, 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 blah. Thiago then later on today is pictured walking into the AXA. But is this where your excitement levels build now when you're looking forward to that first pre-season?
Yeah, you're kind of counting down the days. I thought it was Friday. It turns out it was yesterday. Yeah, it's just to see what, like, I know it sounds a little bit weird, but it's just try and see what kind of condition these boys come back at, because some of these players are going to be fat bastards after they're finished. Like Bobby 100% will be, and he always came back. You could always see it in his face that he had a good summer.
Good summer, yeah,
so,
100%.
When you see Nunes as lean, there's more meat on a butcher's pencil than there is on Nunes. And he seems to have picked up a few extra words of English over the summer, slagging Ramsey about his teeth, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, now this is it now. It's kind of like preparations. We're all in preparation mode. I think the other lads have a week or two extra off, an extra week off.
Yeah.
And then the internationals come back.
They won't. I think some of them are due back next week. And then the week after will be like the Curtis Jones and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's 10 days or something, isn't it?
Yeah, so you're looking at fairly close to the fourth game. I think you'll have only a lot of certain. I think there'll be a lot of youngsters playing that fourth game, because isn't that the 15th? Am I right in saying the 15th?
The 19th, I think.
The 19th, is it?
10 days from today, yeah.
10 days from today, so you'll only have players really back 3-4 days, unless they come back tomorrow. I don't know, but the talk is they come back, and then between possibly the first and second game, or just after the second game, before we go off to Singapore, isn't it? That's where you'll have the likes of Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, and stuff like that, who've played very, very recently.
But the big ones you're looking for starting off is
Szoboszlai
and McAllister.
But I think they'll be due back in the next week, the week to 10 days. You know, the sort of way. Yeah. But you're excited anyway, Emma.
Oh yeah, over the moon. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Especially with the two signings. I've not been on since when we made the second one. Made the second one while I was away, and
because you fucked off on holiday.
Yeah, I didn't win the World Championships. I had an issue with where do I have to go with an engine, and
I remember.
Looks like you burnt yourself with an iron.
It does, doesn't it?
Marv out of bleeding.
So I told
engine exhaust issue I had.
I told people last week Emmett's not on because he's over doing the go-kart championships in Lanzarote. He could be world champion by the end of tonight. And it was the next day you were watching that and saying, what are you fucking telling people that for? But the truth is, Emmet went out go-karting and leaned on the engine of a fucking go-kart and absolutely burned himself. He said you could see the Phillips screwdriver head on his arm and everything. So,
the first thing they show you on the safety video is not to lean on the engine and the exhaust.
Yeah.
And I was looking for the little lad coming back in, so I reached back like that and immediately regretted it. And of course, you can't show pain in front of your son.
Yeah.
So,
Were you in bits?
But I was in fucking ribbons.
And come here, are you getting a claim?
No, should they warn you?
Yeah, well, that's it.
Safety video, yeah.
Yeah, you're just a fucking
My own
You have a
fault.
great tan. You have a great tan. I like
Yeah,
Des
you look
O'Connor there. One for
Des O'Connor. Des O'Connor.
Well done.
But anyway, Keith, the preseason, Jake semester says Andy Naylor is still denying the McAllister move to this day. That was the best thing about the McAllister move was Andy Naylor. But Keith, do you get up for these games? Because they're not far off now, like 10 days or whatever.
Yeah, I mean the games are shite. Like in fairness, they're brutal. But I do like from now pre-season. They're back in. The boys are back in the building. I enjoy it now. You're looking at all the inside Anfield stuff. You're hoovering up as much content as you can around it, and you know it starts now. Even in the little glimpses we've seen, you pick up so much. As Emmet was touching on, you know, Nunes is there learning a bit of English. The lads are back. They're looking lean, looking sharp, and you know, it's very it's when it starts kicking in now. So the games themselves, brilliant. You always look out for your new players. I don't think we'll see them for a while, you know. But once we have them back training, and you can see, you know, as you just touched on, who's come back in shape and who hasn't, who's come back ready to rock and who hasn't, because James Milner isn't there, the tone setter isn't there. Who won the James Milner award this year?
Somebody was saying that Trent came close to beating him last year, so money's on Trent apparently.
Yeah, then Trent's not back in yet. There was only a handful of them, really. Kieran says most of the lads are back on Tuesday, which will be the 11th. So probably a week before our first game. Somebody, the first game is the 19th, and it's a German side, isn't it?
Karlsruhe or something like that.
Oh, Karlsruhe, is it? There's another one.
Yeah.
There's another one then. There's another German side.
We're playing Darmstadt later on.
Yeah, so there's a few thrown in there.
We've 3 German teams, I think.
I thought it was 2 and then off to play
I think Darmstadt is the last one, isn't it? Did they announce?
It's Karlsruhe SE, and then on the 24th of July it's Greuther Fürth.
Greuther Fürth, yeah.
And then Leicester, then Bayern Munich.
That's the 4 there up.
And then Darmstadt is the 7th of August, so before the season starts.
Yeah. Only Joel, Fab and Darwin running the lactate. Yes, he says Sas Cowboy. Jackson Tini says Gomez was second to Milner last year, so there you go.
He looks in good nick, Gomez. I know it's sort of he always does.
Yeah, it's
he
all about
keeps
getting
himself
him playing though.
Very, very fit, and he looks very strong and all. And you just hope that he can catch a break, because the way Liverpool are looking now, if they can get this new formation up and running where they're going to play 3 in there, well, he may not look comfortable even as a left back. He's played there before and he's looked okay. As a left-sided centre-back, I think he would be a good option, you know, if we don't get a big name in the door, or if we do get a younger player like a Levi Colwill that maybe might need a bit of time to adapt. Joe Gomez could have a big part to play in this new system if we start with it in games, you know, go with 3 centre-backs.
O'Sheen says the Darmstadt game is in Preston. I haven't seen that listed. That must be the 5th game.
It only came on, and it's because obviously Anfield isn't ready, so we got our last game. And last week.
Yeah, which 5 feels about right, doesn't it? 4 or 5 feels about right. England won the Euro 21s, Euro under 21s yesterday. Amazing finish to the game, where the penalties given away and stuff like that, and the double save from, I think he's the City goalkeeper, isn't he?
No, he's moved to Burnley. Sold him to Burnley.
Oh, he's gone to Burnley, is he?
15 million, yeah.
Okay, all right. I knew he was linked with, or he was with City, but he's gone to Burnley. Fair play. Amazing double save at the end. Delighted for the 2 Liverpool lads in Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones. But look, Curtis Jones gets man of the match in the semi-final, I think. He gets man of the match in the final, I think.
Yeah.
He gets the winning goal. Although, you know, it's a bit of a medal. But he still gets it, right? And what I've seen online is fucking off the wall mental about Curtis Jones. Like, I'm going to put my bit out for you first, right? And then Keith, then Emmet, or whatever. You can take whatever way you want. You can fight over it. Curtis Jones, for me, has learned an awful lot in the last year of football. He's not played in the last whole year of football, but I think he's learned an awful lot in the last year. I think at the back end of last season, when he was playing and he was getting games, he was constantly being accused in this 4-3-3 Liverpool side of not moving the ball quick enough or hanging on for two. And this is, people think it's the same thing. It's not. Not moving the ball quick enough as in, I'll just kind of, ponder on it and then play it. Or taking too many touches out of it when he's trying to get forward with it. Do you know what I mean? In both cases, it's holding on to it too long, but it's different. Because you're not just... One of them is wandering around the centre circle with it going, I'll just play it here and it looks real lax. Others is like, why are you running down these fucking avenues with it? Be quicker on it, be sharper. And he comes back for the last 10-ish games of the season, I would say. And he looks like he's learned fucking loads, right? I think the system suits him because he's a bit of extra insurance behind him if there's two lads there. And he was popping balls off and he was quick on it and he was, moving it quick, getting in the box, getting a few goals, confident. Really good, right? Now, I would have looked at Curtis Jones and went, squad player, right? Squad player, young, grand. I don't give a fuck where he's from, right? That's a bonus to him that he's a Liverpool person playing for Liverpool. I don't really give a fuck where he's from, right? And I don't mean that as a bad thing about him, right? And he's progressing. And people say at the end of the season, he had a good 10 games, but we'd like to see him kick on, right? Which is fair. He goes to the Euros and has a really fucking good tournament. I watched the highlight packages of most of their games. Really good, fizzing the ball about, quick on it, not losing the ball, really good incisive pass. And I was like, he's doing well. Good to see him doing well in the summer. It didn't stall for him. Great game in the semi-final. He had a great game last night. All the England players did, in fairness. They stuck to their jobs amazing in that game. I watched it on Channel 4. And in my opinion, we should all be coming out of it going, I probably see him still as a squad player, if I'm being honest. But fuck me, if he keeps progressing like that, I'm not saying he's your number one in your team sheet, but you've less worry if you have to play him in Europa League or League Cup, FA Cup, League games, wherever it might be. This is what you want from a Liverpool player. Show progression. Don't get me wrong, if he was shy for 10 games, brutal in the Euros, you're going, you have to have a chat about this fella. Yeah. But I think he's shown real progression. A lot more maturity, a lot more understanding of what Liverpool want him to do. I think he's brought a maturity to the England squad in that tournament. And we should all be saying to ourselves, that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Let's get him into next season now. Let's see if we can push him on a bit more. Encourage the fella. But what we're seeing is fucking, he had a good tournament, but no, get rid of him and, sign this fella and, he's going to hold this and he's going to hold that back. Like, am I off me fucking rocker, Keith, or am I thinking in a normal way, or am I completely off me fucking rocker? That's the question.
No, you're probably off your rocker, yeah, but nothing to do with Curtis Jones. Like,
right, that's fair.
You're off your rocker because you're doing these shows all the time, you know what I mean? But no, look, Curtis Jones is a player that I like. I've always liked him. I think he gets too harshly treated by fans in the fan base. I think the expectation is that he's going to be Steven Gerrard or even Trent, where there's this sort of, let's say, generational talent. And he's not a generational talent, but he's an excellent, excellent player. I remember doing a watch-along on this channel with Jamie Home. Liverpool got beaten by Fulham, and it was a blatant, absolute piss game. And Curtis played, and he was excellent in the game, and he was the standout player. And you're dead right with the taking too much out of the ball. That was the criticism you'd have for him. He can hold on to the ball. He's excellent at it. He's excellent at carrying the ball. But he always took an extra touch or tried, one turn too many, and then moves will break down. Very frustrating to watch. Very frustrating when you're in a team that likes to maybe build up fast. And I think that's where a lot of people got frustrated. But I think you have to remember that the kid is 22. He's had a stop-start career with injuries, a freak eye injury. You know what I mean? Like he's not had luck when it's come to it. He's not been able to nail down a place in the team. But when he has, he's looked really, really good. And I think people can say that he hasn't played against anybody in the run-in. That does not matter. He's done well when he's been in the team. If you get into the team, you follow instruction, you play well, you do what you're told. It doesn't matter if you're playing against the lowest teams in the league, because your confidence builds, and when you play against the better teams in the league, you've already sort of established that this is how you play, this is what I'm going to do. Your teammates know what you're going to do, you know what to expect from your teammates. So it doesn't matter who he's doing it against. He done it at the back end of the season, and he was excellent. And going into the tournament in the under-21s, All eyes are on Kefren Turan, Manu Kone. That's all Liverpool fans are looking at.
And a bit
in
of
this
Gabby
tournament.
Vega, maybe.
A bit of Gabby Vega and a bit of any other player that we're linked with. Curtis Jones was the best midfielder in that tournament. By a mile. Not even close. The best midfielder in that tournament, Curtis Jones. And we have him. Now, I'm not saying, if people want to pay 50 million for a Thuram or a Vega or whatever, Curtis Jones is worth 70. He's not. He's a player that's come through the ranks. But he is taking the opportunity that he's been given now. He's gone into the end of the season. He's established himself as a good option in that Liverpool squad. He's gone into the England team, man of the match in the semis, man of the match in the final, gets the goal, and here it's his goal. Let's not. They were scabby to give it to Cole Palmer, Man City's Cole Palmer. Harry Kane got one in the World Cup when a blade and deflected off him, and they were rushing to give it to him for his hat trick. So we can't have it one way and not the other. It's Curtis Jones's goal. Some of the stuff we've seen online, slating Curtis Jones, has been disgraceful by Liverpool fans, so-called Liverpool fans. I think it's nothing short of a disgrace, and it's because I don't care what people say, there's an agenda against homegrown Liverpool players coming into the team, right? Some people have a problem with it. I don't know why. If you support the team, none of us are from Liverpool, right? We're not locals. We're all from Dublin. We're all from Ireland, right? We're as far away as people in Scotland, other parts of the UK. We're not claiming to be there. I love to see a young lad from Liverpool getting into the team. Should he get more of an opportunity because he's a Scouser? No, but if they're doing the job that they're being asked and they're making improvements, that's all you want to see. Do we expect Curtis Jones to be the answer to a midfield prayers? No. Can he be a very valuable squad player in the Liverpool squad? Yeah. I think I'd rather see Curtis Jones than Jordan Henderson, and that's without a shadow of a doubt. And I'm a huge Henderson fan. At this moment in time, unless Henderson turns it around, I don't know if he can, I would much rather see Curtis Jones getting into the team than Jordan Henderson because of the ways, and he has to do it for a longer period. I do understand that, but from the glimpse we've seen from the end of the season into the summer, what I've seen from England, he's playing deeper for England than he was for Liverpool. So he's playing in a double pivot for England. He's picking the ball up deep. I know that the fancy things are the no-look pass and all that. People going mad about it. Oh, he's not under any pressure. Oh, anyone could do that. Why don't they do it? You know what I mean? It's a player playing with confidence, being able to do that. The little cutter that he put in where he opened them all up. Oh yeah, but look at who he's doing it against. That shouldn't be the argument. It should be like, look, this kid has got confidence. He's playing well. He's in the team. He's doing the business. Who gives a shit if he's doing it against lower teams? Because that builds him up. And that means when he comes to us, he's ready and he's ready to go. And I just want to see him doing well. Others may not agree with that, and that's fine. But I can never understand berating an academy player who cost us fucking nothing and who can save us a fortune and expect them to be a 9 out of 10 every week. It's not going to happen, and I'll never get my head around that thing.
The thing for me is, right, if you go into the next season and you have Fabinho, Szoboszlai, McAllister, right, and you have Thiago, right, and you have Elliott, and you have Henderson, and you have Jones, right, and Bajcetic, and maybe one more, right? If you go into that season, I don't think there's anybody out there putting Curtis Jones in their starting three. Like, if we go into that game against Chelsea, I can't see Klopp might, but I don't see anybody going, Curtis Jones will start that game. Curtis Jones is nailed on to start that game, right? So I don't know why people build this fella up to be, he should be Steven Gerrard, and he's not. So what are we doing with him? My whole thing behind it is, if Curtis Jones continues to progress, right, I'm now looking at him coming onto the pitch instead of an Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, or dare I say it, an Naby Keita that mightn't be fully fit, or a 37-year-old James Milner who always does a great job. But what I'm saying is, I'm more comfortable in Curtis Jones coming on at the start of this season coming than I was at the start of last season. Surely that's a positive.
Yeah.
Surely that's a positive. And like you said, he's cost nothing, right? But if you get rid of him and you have to bring in a player, to bring in a homegrown player, because that's what he's filling, because he filled it because he's gone 22, right? So who are you buying?
Yeah.
So is this all, like Emmet, is this all like basically Curtis Jones isn't at it, so get rid of him and sign Mason Mount for 60 million quid? Is that where we're at?
No. No, I agree with you. I think there's probably an awful lot of pressure on him to be the next Steven Gerrard because he's from Liverpool. And you look at the successes that have come through, like Carragher was like a main starter in the team. Gerrard was a main starter in the team. I think it's the expectation people have on him. He's also he's a victim of his own success. Like his goal against Everton in the FA Cup, wasn't it? That's about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So he's been
January
around.
No, I think it's January 2020. I think.
Or was it 3 years?
I think so. I think it's the league. I think it's not the league winning season, and we just played like all kids.
But look, the point I'm making there is that
maybe.
it's a long time ago, and people, I think people think he's older than he is. Like he's only 22. Like, he's still plenty of time to grow into a role. I think, and I think Kev said it earlier on as well. I think the new box formation of midfield has suited him really, really well.
I think it's focused what he has to do.
Yeah, but he's getting forward. I think I think he might be a better player at getting forward. Did he play forward? I think he played wing. Did he not in the academy?
In the academy, he was like a number 10, and then he was a winger /10. And when he came into Liverpool, he was playing off the left, right, predominantly an attacking player, and he moved him into midfield because he felt he could really hold the ball well, and that was great. But
towards the end of last season, that's the kind of position, because Trent was coming into midfield, you had himself and Henderson or whatever getting forward a hell of a lot more. And I think the first couple of games back, I was guilty of shouting at the TV, move it, pass it quick. He needs to move it quicker. And like after the third or fourth game, he was. And then finally, like I think it was the Spurs and I don't know who the second team was, where he pops up at the back post and gets his 2 goals. I think that type of formation is going to suit him a hell of a lot better than the 4-3-3. I think it was Kev maybe had said that this new system, if we stick to it, probably suits him better than it would suit Thiago.
Yeah. Suits Elliot as well.
Jones's form from the end of last season. I didn't watch much of the under-21s. I watched the game last night. I didn't think he had a great first half, but he was much better the second half. But again, that was down to formation. But I think they were playing like a 4-2-4 or something. Kev was saying as well. But I would prefer to have him. I'm with Keith. I'd prefer to have him probably as the option rather than Henderson, because he does give you the legs that unfortunately Henderson doesn't give you. If we were talking 2-3 years ago, Henderson all day long. But he is like there's players that have made and become legends from being substitutes. Like David Fairclough was known as super sub. You're right. He doesn't necessarily need to be the first name on the team sheet. He can make a massive contribution to this team from the bench. And I think he's well worth his spot on the bench for next season.
Yeah. Look, I just think, and I go back to it, the biggest thing for me is that we're going into this season, I think, with a better Curtis Jones than we did last season. And I think we're going into it where we're a bit more sure of what Curtis Jones, where he fits and what he can do. Where's the problem? Like, what are we? We can't just go. We can't turn around and go, "Oh, Curtis Jones isn't doing it." Like, people, we just signed this homegrown player. Who? What, are you going to go and sign Calvin Phillips off City for 50 million? Fellas,
they're cheap, aren't they?
Do you know what I mean?
They're cheap
like,
options.
You're not going to do it. You're going to go, like, honestly, I promise you there's people out there going, just sell Curtis Jones and buy Jacob Ramsey.
Yeah.
Right? There's genuinely people out there, right, doing that. And I'm not saying Jacob Ramsey isn't a fucking outstanding footballer. He is. But that's not how the world works. Like, I just can't get my head around the fact that anybody is looking at Curtis Jones and his form over the last 10 league games. And we're going into going, he stepped up in those 10 league games. Great. He's pushed on in the Euros. He's shown a lot of maturity is the biggest thing out of it for me.
Yeah.
And now let's hope he pushes on again instead of sitting there going, I know. And people go, oh, it's a small sample size. Well, what fucking sample size do you want? Do you know what I mean? Like, honestly, it's a small sample size, right? But these same people will be fucking kicking and screaming if a fella has a bad game on the first day of the season. Get him out of the fucking team. Well, it was only a one game. Why don't you play him again? No, fuck him. Get him out of the team. Get him out. Put someone new in. Do you know what? It's a fucking joke.
I had an argument. I had an argument
if you
about
disagree, if you disagree with me, let me know, because I'll argue the point all fucking day with you, to be honest.
I had an argument about it that, he's only doing it, the sun shines on a dog's arse. He doesn't do it all the time. The sample size isn't big enough. And the same person then went on to say, Bajcetic is the man. And I'm like, well, he's played how many games? Do you know what I mean?
11.
Like, Bajcetic, 11 games. Love Bajcetic, don't get me wrong. I think he's big future with us. But you cannot beat Curtis Jones with a small sample size stick and then champion Stefan Bajcetic with a smaller sample size. Do you know what I mean? So
but you see, the thing
you
is,
shouldn't be comparing them against each other.
no, the big thing here for me with Curtis Jones is that Curtis Jones has been in the squad 3-4 years now, and people are like, he's there since he's 18. Why isn't he fucking the best midfielder in the world when he's 22? It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen like that. That's why I think, like, take Bajcetic as an example. We go into this summer, right, or into this season, and we say to ourselves, really like the look of Bajcetic, right? Didn't know fuck all about him at the start of last season, but I do now. I hope he's back. I hope he's fit. Let's go. Fucking, he can play some games. He's good in different positions. So is Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones is a step up from the Curtis Jones last year. Like, honestly, it blows my fucking mind. Don't get me wrong. If he was appalling when he came back and was shocking in the Euros, you go, no, he just hasn't got it. I get people giving out about him. I get the worry that's there. But at the end of the day, if you need to call on Curtis Jones, right now, he's a better Curtis Jones than you were hoping to call on 6 months ago. And that's all you can want, is progression. He can't go from, a young talent to the best in the world in 6 months, a year. He can't. Simply can't. And remember, Liverpool have been evolving in a system over that time, right? Evolving in basically changing their forward line over that time. So, like, there's loads in the pot there. There's loads in the melting pot. But Curtis Jones, to me, looks a better prospect than he did 6 months, a year ago. It might fall flat on its arse. It may do. But Jesus, let it fall flat on its arse, will you? You know what I mean? Let's get on to Levi Colwill. Now, I think the links are just probably a little bit fucking tenuous. But the talk around the centre-half stuff is out there. Are we going to get somebody in that covers for a couple of years? I'm not really into that. It's just like filling another gap. His name has come up. He's linked with Brighton. Brighton have a bid torn down. Pochettino wants to talk to him. Chelsea before anything goes on. He's not too warm on the whole Chelsea thing post-match last night, if you believe body language and different things when that happened. But Emma, I'll come to you first. We'll let people go home. Where are you on this? Because I think if we're going to go and try get this fella, it's going to cost an extortionate amount of money, and I think it will affect what we may do in midfield, and I include even if we were to let one or two go on that.
I've not seen enough of him to like give you 100% opinion. I saw him last night. I thought he looked very composed. He does kind of remind you of Van Dijk a little bit. If it's going to start getting towards silly money, and I see some people mentioning in the chat there that it looks like it could be close to 100 million. If it's going to be close to 100 million, I'd go and get Vardiol instead of... Now, I don't think he's agreed to go to City yet, has he? But if you're gonna be willing to spend that money, I'd probably go for Vardiol instead of Colwill. I still think that we shouldn't be going all in on a centre half just yet. I think the midfield is where it's needed most, and if we don't do another midfielder, we're only going to have to be replacing the likes of Henderson and Thiago next year. So then you're going out to try and buy another 3 next year. I think we should sort the midfield for the next few years this year, and then look at maybe January next summer going for your backup at centre half or your left-sided centre half. But in terms of Colwill, if he's as good as everybody is saying he is, I still don't think he'd be worth 100 million, not even 80. Somebody else said
Jesus,
80.
you're saying 100. People I was talking to earlier were saying 60 to 70 million, and I was like, not too sure on that.
You're bald.
I'm only going by
60 to 70. Emmet's on the 100.
Exactly. No. I even at 60, I still don't think. No, like he needs to. The transfer market's gone crazy. If you're going to be demanding 60 or 70 for a player that age with that little experience, it's just mental carry on. Again, but you're going to be paying English tax and Premier League tax. He has experience and all that kind of stuff. There's bigger and more proven stars out there that you could get for that money, probably less. But I wouldn't be pinning all of that money on a. I think we should be going all out to get another midfielder more so than a defender.
Okay.
I think a defender more than a midfielder.
Well, hold on, right? Because Vasa Flower says it'll be a cold day in hell before Colwill is sold to Liverpool Football Club by Chelsea. And Antwango says Chelsea basically don't want him to go. Now, this is where I'm going to throw back at you, Keith. Now, I think if we were to do... Part of me thinks if we were to do something like this, fella, we would be looking at something cheaper than Lavia at 50 or getting Lavia for cheaper if you were going to do it. And fair play to the club if they were, because I think that would touch us on about 200 million outgoings, right? And if you sell a few, fair fucks to you, right? But Keith, the only thing that keeps my mind in this Colwill stuff is, right, they see an opportunity. And what they're thinking is, yeah, Brighton may want to use him as a bait in the Caicedo deal, because Caicedo's being rumoured at 100 million quid, and people are laughing at this 100 million for Levi Colwill. Like, look at the market; it's off its bleeding bracket. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, Brighton might want to go. Listen, if you give him here for 40, we'll reduce that from 100 to 80. I mean, we call it quits on that, something along them lines. Liverpool might see this as an opportunity to say, you know what, he's so highly rated. If we weren't to go for him now and he were to go to Brighton for 40 million quid or 50 million quid, you would probably be paying another 80% on top of that again to try to get him out of Brighton in a year or two's time, right? Could this be a wild card one? Could this be one, Keith, where they're definitely going to do a midfielder, but then they're saying to themselves, centre back, 25, 30 million. It does us for a season or two, and then we can, over that next 24 months, we can start, Matip or Gomez or whatever. But this fella's here now, and Jesus, we're going in and we're getting him. We can't be left behind.
The thing with Colwill, the Caicedo thing is huge in this. I think that's the real trump card in this, because there is a bit of horse trading going on between Chelsea and Brighton. But Liverpool could see him, and the way I look at it, and the same with Romeo Lavia, I think they'll pay the inflated fee, and I wouldn't be surprised if they done the two of them and done the big dough, done 50 for Lavia and went and done 60 for Colwill, let's say. I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool done that, because
that would bring your spend to £205 million.
But they're both homegrown players, and I think whether we like to believe it or not, there does have to be a situation where you have to have a quota matched. And if you can bring in a player like that, and then over the years, then you're not having to worry about it. If you bring in young players that can go in and do it, you're sort of setting yourself up for a while with that. It's all second guessing, because we don't know what the club are thinking. But to me, it sounds like something that you're willing to smash. More so, Liverpool smash the bank on would be younger players like this who are on the cusp of it. The reason being the wages, because people are throwing in Valverde, they're throwing in too many at Real Madrid. I think if they came to Liverpool, they'd be looking to be the highest paid player, maybe just after Salah or whatever. They're looking for huge money.
They're looking for $250,000 a week.
Whereas I think Liverpool may look at, let's say they spent 110 million on these two lads. Combined wages, you're probably not giving them
$100,000 a week.
You know what I mean?
150 grand a week.
And I think that could be why Liverpool might look at the deals as being manageable. Transfer fee is high, but the wages low, and that could be the thinking. Again, this is just guess. It's all guesswork. But I think you have to look at these players, their profile. Levi Colwill, Emmet's right. You haven't seen much of him. He doesn't play all the time for Brighton. Do you know what I mean? And I watched a fair bit of Brighton last year, because I like Brighton. I like the look of them. Every time you watch them, it's that big ham, that English fella at the back. What's his name? Lewis Dunk and Adam Webster and, Joe Veltman coming in. Now, Colwill does play, obviously plays an awful lot for them. But it's not like you're getting this absolute nailed-on starter. Chelsea are looking for him. They bought in Fofana for 70 million. They brought in Badiashile for 40 million, I think, in and around that. He's only a young flit as well. right, they have players that are going to be moving on. They fucking loads of players that are moving on. Koulibaly is gone. Azpilicueta gone. They could move on a few others because they've absolutely stockpiled a load of shite there. But the main thing with Levi Colwill is he seems to want games, right? So he doesn't want to be hanging around waiting. Can Liverpool guarantee him games at the moment? No. I would be surprised if there was any guarantee of games. But can they show him a route in a year or two that maybe Virgil van Dijk is getting phased out? Certainly can. But Chelsea can also do that. Do you know what I mean? Chelsea can say, look, Thiago Silva's 48. He's not going to be here forever. Do you know what I mean? We're going to be getting other players in there. So you're going and trying to say, right, he's a Liverpool fan, come and play for Liverpool. Or he's at Chelsea. Does he want to establish himself there? So you don't know what's going to happen. But this link makes sense to me. And other links to the likes of Mark Wehi, let's say at Crystal Palace, English centre-back. You know, maybe not the best centre-back in the world.
I like Tomori.
Tomori was one I was going to get to as well there. He's another great one. And again, he's not getting big dough. Do you know what I mean? So I think the type of player that they're being linked with, well, the transfer fee may be high on some of these. I don't think the wages will, and that's where Liverpool... And fans hate to hear that. People will be in the chat going, fuck off about money, will you? But that's the reality. Do you know what I mean? We can all pretend like Liverpool, one of the biggest clubs in the world, they should be able to spend this and the wages. They're not going to. It doesn't happen. What are they going to do? What's the best they can do? I think this is the route that they go. They get a player, pay a high fee, not on the high wages, and that's, I think, where Liverpool will be looking to get it. Look at the ones they've all signed. Do you know what I mean? Like Nunes, Diaz, like they weren't on big money in Portugal, so you can bring them in and you can put the Cody Gakpo, the Dutch pay fuck all. You bring them in, you put them on a good wage, but you're not having to put them immediately in as your top earner, and that's, I think, is important for Liverpool, more so than the transfer fee.
And Brighton probably won't outbid you on wages either. They're not going
No,
to.
they're not going to. But I still think if a centre half is coming in, and I'm not convinced it will. I still think if a centre half comes in, the only reason this Colwill one is happening is they see it as an opportunity where he's at a crossroads early in his career. Does he stay with Chelsea? Brighton definitely want him. And he decides, fuck it, no, I want to go to Liverpool. And that's just an opportunistic signing by Liverpool, which costs a lot of money. But they're willing to take that risk on it, you know, the sort of way. Midfield still needs one. And when it comes to defender, people are going banging on about a left-sided defender. But I think the next left-sided defender should be someone that you go, he's replacing Virgil van Dijk. Not now, but he's definitely in. We want to see him in 2 years' time replacing Virgil van Dijk. Could be 34. Now Virgil could probably play till 36 or whatever. But do you know what I mean? Like, we're just writing off the two fullbacks we have, I think, a little bit by all this stuff around left-sided centre halves. I think if you're going to go on that, you have to go big. You know what I mean? A bit like you did with Konate. And the next one after that then is probably going to be a one that's cover for Konate because Matip's gone or something. That's the way I see it. The only way I see Colwill happen is if they see it as an opportunity, and they have got the kind of, you know, the little wink to say, here, this could happen if you want to make it happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are saying that Chelsea won't sell, but if he goes into Chelsea, look, I don't want to go. I don't want to be here. You know what I mean? I want to go off. I want to go somewhere else. I'm not blah, blah, blah. He'd be gone. You know what I mean? Unless Chelsea are willing to sit and let him see out a contract, which I don't think they are. They want money for players. And maybe Pochettino will just turn and say he doesn't want to be here. He's gone. You know, the sort of way. But it's still an awful lot of money. And Liverpool to find that money, I think, is another big question. And then who goes? Because Liverpool aren't spending 205 million quid this summer and nobody's going out the door for nothing. You know what I mean? All these players are leaving and just freeze and that's it. There's no way.
Yeah, but Gav, do you know, look at the wage bill. And again, people will be like, fuck the wage bill, Keith. They have absolutely slaughtered that wage bill. With Milner going, with Ox going, with Keita going, with Bobby going. Even Nat Phillips on about 75 grand a week. You know what I mean? When Nat Phillips goes, I know, but when, you know what I mean? When you think if he's on 75, these other lads are earning big corn. I think Thiago will go. I do. I think Thiago's going to go, and I think we'll bring in a midfield player when that happens. It won't be a buy to sell. It'll just be a case of they don't want the traffic jam. And I just think the wages is the big thing. I always think the wages with Liverpool, it's not the fee. They'll pay a fee. It's like the Bellingham thing. I think they were interested in Bellingham until Real blew them out of water with the wages. The rumoured money he's getting Liverpool were never going to match. There's been so many other instances of this where they've just backed off when it's been too much on wages, and they've already got a huge wage bill because of bonuses and all. Not this year.
Second highest, I think.
Yeah. So it's a big thing. But if they can get a Levi Colwill in, and they're convinced that Levi Colwill is going to be Virgil van Dijk in 3 years, they'll pay the money and let him sit. But will he be happy to do that? But they'll have him on a wage, and I don't know what the chap earns. Chelsea are giving big dough as well. Make no mistake. So he's not going to be coming in for bleeding 30 grand a week. But you could get him on 120 grand a week, and we all know inflation and all that. It sounds like 100 grand a week. Fucking so many players are earning above that now. If you can see him on that and he becomes your Virgil van Dijk, well, then you're putting yourself in a good position. So
he's on 15 grand a week. He's on
15. Fucking hell. There you go. Give him 26. There you go. There's a nice pay rise for you.
But come here. It's one that's going to go on. It's going to rumble on, especially now that these Euros is over, and he's being prominent in that Euros, very prominent in that Euros, along with Curtis Jones and others. So we'll wait and see how that goes. Smash the like button, hit it. Don't do what you want, but get the like button hit there. There's 500-600 people watching, 233 likes. Thanks to everyone that's hit the like button. Trust us, it helps us. If you hit the like button, subscribe, comment, every little bit helps. So hit the like button if you can now or on the way out. Rest of the week on the channel, trying to put something together for tomorrow. We're definitely doing a quiz because a couple of people have sent in quizzes to me. I'm going to put them together and make one out of it. I know Matt's trying to do a general knowledge one. That could take forever for them to set that up. We're definitely going to have Liverpool's great games again during the week. We're definitely going to do another transfer one during the week. So we'll keep it going as much as we can. And look, we're getting back into the football now. I think we've done a great job in keeping shows going over this close season. So thanks to everyone that has helped out with that. Like I said, the link is in the description for the charity, so go and check that out as well. Now, I've kept the question for you for the very end, right? Now, I don't want this to go on for bleeding ever, right? But Dylan O'Rourke asked this early door, so I'm going to ask. Lads, what's your opinion on garlic bread with toppings? Fabio's in Killock, which is north side of Dublin, does a smashing garlic bread on Vienna roll slices. 50 cent to add cheese and toppings. Exceptional stuff. Now, Emma, you should have probably went to Fabio's in Killock tonight because it would have been quicker than the place you went to. Emma, what's your feeling? Because Vienna roll slices just grabbed me straight away there.
Yeah, big time. I've only ever had garlic bread with cheese on it. I've never had it with anything else on it.
Right.
So I'm all for it. But like, if as soon as you start putting anything else on it, does it not then become a pizza?
Well, no, because it's on Vienna roll. Like if you're wandering around with a Vienna roll,
mini pizzas.
No, if you're
is it not chopped up or is it full Vienna roll?
No, we just said on Vienna roll slices.
Yeah. Okay.
If there's no tomato sauce, then you're okay. If there's tomato sauce on it, then you're getting into the world of pizzas.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I'm all right with toppings. Garlic bread and cheese all day long. I get that all the time. Depends on what the toppings are. It have to be meat. If I'm ordering a pizza or anything like that.
Yeah, I want. Yeah.
Take all the veg off. Yeah. Every bit of meat that you have.
Yeah. All the meat.
I arrive at the door with a club and a fork.
Yeah. How are you, Fred?
Like a caveman.
They need me to catch on you this meat.
Keith, Vienna roll slices is just fucking exceptional, to be fair.
Vienna roll is what got me in on this. I love garlic bread. I'm a garlic bread connoisseur, I'd say, but I've never had it on a Vienna roll slice. And that's just absolutely like.
Have you not? You can buy it frozen like that.
Buy what?
Yeah, no, that's on it. That's on
garlic bread. No, that's that. No, you can. There's actually. I'll find out what it is and I'll WhatsApp you.
What are you talking about?
I have it on Vienna roll all the time, and it comes frozen, and you put it
frozen like that's.
Yeah,
on a Vienna roll.
Yeah, it's like sliced kind of diagonally bits of Vienna roll. Yeah, and frozen with garlic on it.
Antwango's asking what the fuck is a Vienna roll?
Vienna roll.
It's like a large baguette.
Where is
like a big, huge
where's Antwango from? Vienna roll is it's just it's not even a soft roll.
No, it's like a big, huge baguette. It's like a big.
It's like an oversized baguette, wider than a baguette roll. But it's hard on the outside. When you cut into it, it's really soft Vienna roll on the inside. It's a hard outer, but on the inside, it's just soft. It's fucking amazing. Vienna roll is. I'm garlic bread on Vienna roll is outstanding. I'm literally I'm going to look up Fabio's in Killock. Chorizo, I'd love some chorizo on it.
Yeah,
nice.
Chorizo I'd have a go
any
at.
sort of the Italian meats as well, your salamis or your pepperonis and things like that. Be all over that.
Yeah. So there you go. If people in the UK are probably going, what is a Vienna roll? Just go into a shop and buy imagine a normal roll, double the width in size and probably double the length, and then just buy it. Slice it up. It's nice and soft inside. Throw your garlic butter on it, and away you go. That's Vienna roll. But I thought that question deserved to be one of the questions that are the question at the end. So fair play to them.
There you go. Look, I don't know whether you're going to be. I can't show this if it's Aldi, can I? I'll send you a picture.
Why can't you show if it's Aldi?
Yeah, look. So
we need to get
your phone in front of the camera for fuck's sake.
Oh, you have to hold it still.
Yeah.
Move to your right. Stay there where you are now. Stay still.
I used to drive forklift trucks.
Still.
Hang on, I have to go back. Go in a bit.
No, forget about it. Listen.
Hang on.
That's an awful effort.
Yeah, but you're buying a frozen. You're buying a frozen. That's the
I know, but it's still Vienna roll. It's big.
Jake Semester asked Gav, when's the next Bang Average Golf video? The next video should be out by Wednesday. That is me and Mark playing as a team in the next one. And we're
what a player, by the way.
It's a joke, yes. But we should be out filming sometime this week as well. We need to be because we're running our videos, so we need to film at some stage this week. So I hope you enjoyed the ones with Mark playing. He's a joke of a golfer. He really, really is. Anything else before we go, Emma?
Mick the Irish Scouser said it's called a French stick now, lads.
That's just a big baguette.
What?
The French stick's a big baguette.
No,
this roll is much bigger.
Thicker and thicker.
Yeah, a French stick is just a double baguette that's just double the length.
I'd pull a Vienna roll up on my phone there, but that didn't go too well.
Yeah, I know, fucking statement. A Vienna roll is nowhere near a French stick. No, and I'm not giving the French all the credit. No, no way. Anything else before we go, Emma?
No.
He's trying as well.
No.
The lighting's a bit better, and yours. It's fantastic.
It's a big wide thing. Probably treble the width of a
normal roll.
Of a baguette.
Yeah, we're losing bleeding subscribers by the dozen.
The viewers have gone up though.
Yeah, fuck them. So again, Emma, anything else before we go?
Just looking forward to seeing the rest of the lads coming back in dribs and drabs. Somebody said they're back on Tuesday. Brilliant. Be great to see them all back in. As I said earlier on, the two you're kind of really looking forward to seeing is McAllister and Szoboszlai on that first day. I'm sure there's going to be a what do they call it? Inside Anfield or whatever.
Oh, yeah, one of those jobs. Yeah. You're looking forward to that. Keith, anything else before we go? Chris Brack wants to know what you're listening to this week.
Do you know what, right? I've decided, I'm listening in the summer, I'm a reggae man, right? So I listen to reggae all the time, right? So Bob Marley, Toots and the Maytals, Alan Lawson.
I'm just visioning you now with dreadlocks. Go on.
Get on to John, anyone that doesn't know, John Holt. I'm just listening to him all the time. But I've decided I'm going to go back and listen to albums, right, for a week, old ones. Right. And I've gone back to one, right? 20 years old this album is, right? Now I'm going to read the lyrics of a song and see if you know who it is, right? We started living in an old house. My ma gave birth and we were checking it out. It was a baby boy, so we bought him a toy. It was a ray gun and it was 1981. Does anyone know what song that is?
No, I'd say it's a rapper.
It's not a rapper. It's not a rapper.
Is it? Hold on. Is he a man that sings at Wimbledon every time it rains?
Cliff Richard.
Yeah.
Itchy Fanny. No, it's not Cliff Richard.
What a joke that is as well. I probably misses that on holidays. It was gas.
Great one. 20 years ago this year, the White Stripes album, Elephant, came out, and I'm listening to it all week. It's fucking amazing. The White Stripes are brilliant. Anyone that's not into them,
I think you told us this before.
Give them a go. They are fucking brilliant. So I'm on the White Stripes this week.
Sass Coppoy says, first time I saw Keith, I immediately thought, now there's a reggae man. Oh my God. Paul Giovanni says, do you like a bit of UB40? Do you know what? Don't tell him I told you this, right? But Paddy Lawson fucking hates UB40. Hates them. I was in a car with him one day and it came on UB40, and you want to see him scramble to try to turn the radio off. He was nearly pulling the fucking thing out of the car. But yeah, Paddy Lawson of the Lawson clan absolutely fucking despises UB40, which is
And Paddy's a good man. He's a good man.
Such a random thing.
He's gone down in my estimation because of that, but however, you know what I mean?
There you go.
Probably forgive him.
Right, we're out of here. That has been the Fatback 4 with the three of us. This week, Shawnee, I don't even know if he's back next week. I think we'll be the week after.
Shawnee goes on these holidays. You don't know when we're going to get him back.
No, he could arrive back at any time.
He's having a great time anyway. Sorry.
He's having a bleeding body. But anyway, that's been Emmet, Keith, and myself, Gav. Like I said, donate via the description, the link in the description if you can. We're going to bring you as many videos as we can this week, covering transfers, covering Liverpool games, whatever we can find. I might try to get a couple of fans from other clubs on, looking forward to the season as well. That was something I was really trying to do for tomorrow night, but I'm banging my hell off a brick wall a little bit with that one. But we'll do as much as we possibly can. Bang Average Golf, yeah, go and subscribe to that. We should have another good video out for you on Wednesday, and we are filming again. And there's loads of stuff coming up with that channel. Loads. Way different to what you've seen so far. There's loads coming up with it. So if you can subscribe to that, please do so. You don't even have to like golf. It's just a laugh. So check that out. That's been it. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.